Joining me now to talk about that final interview and his reflection from that day, co-founder and managing director of the Savory Fund, Andrew K. Smith. Andrew, I want to give you an open floor to share your thoughts from that interview at that day, but I just want to note, and maybe it can be my first question to you, when you asked him that, and he pointed to "this too shall pass," he went on to tell you it keeps you humble when things are great and lifts you up when things are down. And then he pointed to the Bible verse as well that he said nourishes you through, that everything that happens is part of God's greater plan. It's hard not to keep that attached to the way things turned out a few hours later in his life and the impact on all of us.
Yeah, I got to be honest, right when I listened to that just now, I've listened to this obviously a few times, but when I was in that moment, Will, it's hard to understand even how I would feel less than an hour actually after that. When we were done with that moment right there, he stood up, we walked into the back of the stage, we exchanged some pictures, chatted a few minutes, and he walked out the back door, and under an hour later, he was assassinated. And so if we all think about how he left us with those two phrases, and in my mind, when you think this too shall pass, it will pass. Even though it was a little over a week ago and it feels like a lifetime ago that it happened, it still feels like it's so fresh in my mind and in the minds of the 500 plus people that were in that room that day as well. It's pretty sobering.
How does it feel, Andrew, to be the last person to officially interview Charlie? He took questions from students that day. He interacted with certainly many people, even in that 1 hour since he last spoke to you. But you're the last person to sit and talk in depth with Charlie. What did you learn?
Yeah, I didn't ask for it. I don't think anybody would want to ask for that experience, but I'm so honored to have had it. I've been in touch with the Kirk family, and they have also viewed it finally today. And I'm so glad that they were able to see Charlie in his last moment. But for me, I think that the thing that's the most important for me is that when people watch this interview, the people that were in that room shared with me, Will, after that, that some people were not in agreement with what his stances were, and they said, after that was so enjoyable to listen to him. He was inspirational. He was optimistic. He was leaning into the future with great optimism, a 5-10-year plan. He was bullish about it. And people left there all with different backgrounds and different political views, but it was such a unifying conversation that people felt differently about him. And I had people say that. I feel totally different about him now after that conversation. And so for me, I hope that when people watch that they look at this and watch it and view Charlie something different than just a headline or a soundbite, right? We want them to look at who he was, which was an incredible entrepreneur, an incredible business mind, an incredible human. It could be a friend, and someone that you would want to just sit down with, even though you might have differences with him, around a round table and break bread. And that's something that we believe in at Savory and within the restaurant industry is we come from different backgrounds. We're very diverse in this industry as well. And we should all, as America, be able to sit around a round table and break bread. And Charlie is one that you would want to do that with.
Well, incredible conversation, and reminder, everyone watching can see that tomorrow on the Fox News channel or at Fox Nation. Andrew K. Smith, thank you so much for sharing that with us today. Hey, it's Will Cain. Click here to subscribe to the Fox News channel on YouTube. It's the best way to get our latest interviews and highlights. And click to subscribe to the Will Cain podcast for full episodes right now.